Beyond the Mic with Sean Dillon.
We're joined on the star line by a Super Bowl winning coach. His latest book, The Q Factor, The Elusive Search for the Next Great NFL Quarterback, is available now. We welcome Coach Brian Billick.
Yes, sir. How we doing?
Absolutely great. Let's go beyond the mic. In The Q Factor, you examine the players' first-round quarterback picks in the 2018 draft and searching for that better method for spotting and developing quarterback talent. Why was this so important for you to write?
Well, it's obviously my experiences in the NFL, the 2018 draft, these five quarterbacks, the most we've seen since maybe 1983, seemed like the purpose backdrop to look at the process and how has the process altered and has it really gotten better with the advance in analytics and matrix and the experience we have. It's still a 50-50 proposition when you take a first-round quarterback, and it needs to be better than that. So it just was interesting to me to look at the process. We used the 2018 draft with Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, and Lamar Jackson to see what is it we thought they were going in, how did the draft go by, how did they develop, and look at the factors as to why, again, 50-50, some worked out, some didn't.
In the Q Factor, Coach, you say, quote, no stat by itself tells you how well the player puts the skills together. Don't let need sell you on the wrong leader, unquote. Why is drafting the right quarterback the hardest task for some NFL teams?
Well, yeah, because a couple of one. There's no more important player on your team than the quarterback. But the criteria changes. It's different. You look at the great quarterbacks. If you and I were to talk about the top 10 quarterbacks of all time, we'd come up with 12, 13 guys. And then if we talked about what are the traits that made them great, made them Hall of Famers, it would be a different set of characteristics for every single player. The quick release of a Dan Marino, the athleticism in the pocket of an accuracy of a Joe Montana, the perfect stroke of a Warren Moon, the intellect of a Tom Brady or a Peyton Manning. So it's kind of a moving scale, and if you try to apply one size fits all, you're going to make a mistake. So you have to determine what that criteria is, what you're looking for in every athlete, and then you got to stick to it.
Now, how important is coaching and team stability in balance for finding the right quarterback? After all, the Browns have been searching for the right one since 1999.
Yeah, that's the third leg of the tripod, isn't it? You got to hit the trifecta. There certainly has to be the physical skills, and that's usually there. Even the most notable first-round busts, whether it be Vince Young, Jamarcus Russell, Achilles Smith, Tim Couch, they had the physical abilities to play. It's the next aspect, the emotional and mental makeup of a winner, of someone that can apply those and step up into the NFL. And then the third factor is, yes, it is coaching. It is the system. Is it the right player going to the right place? All three have to be spot on.
Is the college air raid good for the NFL?
Well, it's clearly prevalent throughout it. It's hard to evaluate a player in the college game when so few throws translate into the NFL, but that's the way it is. And it's beginning to expand in the NFL, but it's still, you've got to have someone that can ultimately win from the pocket. It's great if they can do some things outside, but ultimately they have to win from the pocket, and that's hard to determine given the college game and the way that it's played now. That's the challenge to these evaluators, taking really a reduced amount of data and extrapolating it out as to whether it can play in the NFL or not.
Which college quarterback should we be watching out for in 2021?
Well, obviously, the young man from Clemson, it really looks to be outstanding. And it should be, he looks to be the whole package. But let's remember, Deshaun Watson fell to 12th in the draft behind Mitchell Trubisky. I mean, what world does Mitchell Trubisky go 1 and Patrick Mahomes go 10 and Deshaun Watson go 12? But he came from Clemson, and the knock on him at the time, again, you're looking at the matrix as to how we make a mistake, is, well, he's coming from a program in the ACC where they're so dominant. He's got so many great players around him. He's a system quarterback. We didn't extrapolate his abilities properly. We dismissed it because of where he had played and the level of competition and how good his team is and the system that they have. And Trevor Lawrence is the same way. We got to make sure we don't make that same mistake because he looks like he has all the tools. And to me, he seems to have the emotional and mental makeup, the stability to be a pretty quarterback in the NFL.
Russell Wilson's been tearing it up, and everyone missed on him. They thought he was too small.
Yeah, how about that? Dropped to the 75th player in that year's draft. And you're right, because we look at certain criteria. That's an example of the filters you set and the criteria you're setting that you got to look real hard. Am I using the right matrix to measure these guys? Because And it had to do, he transferred from North Carolina State to Wisconsin. He performed brilliantly on both. Questions about if he was going to play baseball. There was the height thing, which we now have learned, no, should not be a factor because this guy is absolutely spectacular. And so that will change our matrix a little bit as we look at quarterbacks going, okay, maybe the height thing isn't as important. We shouldn't value it as much as we have in the past.
Kyler Murray, Daniel Jones, Dwayne Haskins, who wins the Super Bowl first?
Wow, that's a good question. You know, and that again, let's go back to what we talk about: the right player at the right time with the right team. You know, and I think that's going to be again one of the hardest things to do is to separate what's going on, what a quarterback is versus what's going on around him, and separating the two and not blaming him for one and maybe giving him too much credit on the other. Obviously, Kyler Murray looks like he's off to a great start. Daniel Jones, again, not a great deal around him right now. The same with Dwayne Haskins. I don't know if we can accurately judge how they're playing just yet because I don't think they have the support group around them yet.
Going to throw a curveball at you. Should the Rooney Rule be changed to incentivize teams to hire more minority head coaches?
Certainly that wouldn't hurt. Basically, what you've been trying to do for a long, long time is making sure that the decision makers, and basically you're talking about the owners, make sure that they have a broad enough view of the incredible talent we have in this league, whether it be assistant coaches, general managers, scouts, personnel people, to fill some of these spots. Because, it's just like the ascension of the minority quarterback in the National Football League to where, and believe me, all they want to do is win. They want to get the right people. So it's not like they're not conscious of this. It's just a matter of exposing them to the right group of people that have the prerequisite skills to fill these jobs.
His latest book, The Q Factor, The Elusive Search for the Next Great NFL Quarterback, is available now. Coach, author, Brian Billick, thank you so much for your time.
All right.
And that, my friends, is a Beyond the Mic shortcut.